So TK, tell us, what was your first experience with cannabis? Do you remember the first time you ever smoked or the first time you ever came in contact with either cannabis or CBD?
Yeah, I was a youngster. I was probably about 16 years old. I definitely remember the experience. So my brother started smoking years before myself, and he introduced me to he told me to come over, and we hung out, and I smoked with his friend's mom.
Nice.
So that was my first experience. I smoked with his friend's mother. So I guess she was one of those moms that, she would rather her child smoke at home versus just being out in the street. So, it was weird for me at the time, but hey, me and my brother, his friend, and her mom had our first session together. So
there are plenty of moms in the industry now, so
absolutely. The stigma that wraps around it is not so tough now.
Right.
So, but back then it was something to talk about.
What about when you were shifting towards getting into the regulated market? What was that experience like, going from, an industry that has been stigmatized and has been frowned upon, and to now it's coming into legalization? What was it like for you to go from A to B?
It was a challenge. Because, 2018, when everything hit, January 2018, when everything hit, the first thing that everybody on the traditional side, I don't want to call it the black market, I want to call it the traditional side. Everybody on the traditional side was trying to convert, But then that's when you find out that, California has established certain green zones, and in these green zones, the building's rent has gone from $2,000 a month to $17,000 a month to $20,000 a month. So now you find yourself in a position to where you're a small guy. You're not one of the people that's, got the big investors behind you. You're a grassroots type business. You've built it to where it is, and you don't have $2 million just to pay for rent, on top of the licensing and application costs, on top of, trying to get grants and loans to cover some of this, on top of trying to find investors to help you, so it was a major challenge. So it took until just recently for me to transition into the recreational market, late 2019, early 2020, to get into the recreational market. And it's more so because a guy had a building and needed to make some money. He didn't have anybody there. So Remedy Plus was able to come in. We established, something affordable for us. And now we're able to produce out of San Rafael, Northern California. And we have our own production facility.
When you were kind of bringing this idea of starting a company, starting a line together, what was some of the inspiration that you pulled from? How did you really come to the idea, like, I want to create a product line and this is the products that I want? What was that process like?
My entire company is built based on family, education and balance, and the way I established my business is based on that. So how I came up with my products is, at one point, my grandmother had disowned me because I was in the cannabis industry. The old heads call it dope, and I associate dope with like meth and crack and stuff like that. So she just didn't see it the way I saw it at the time. And she became ill and different things. One thing led to another. At one point, she was only supposed to live for a few more days. Okay, so she survives that. My granny was a trooper. She survives, she goes home, and now she's interested in cannabis products. She was on the fentanyl patch. She was very aware of getting addicted to these opiate-based medications, and she did not want that for herself. So with that being said, she started asking me, because people were referring, hey, you should try this, you should try that. Now she's asking the person that she had once disowned. So now I have an opportunity to share, okay, well, this is a lotion that I made. Okay, this is a pain balm that I made. This is a tincture that I made. Oh, I went to the dispensary and I got this vape pen. Okay, this is a CBD vape pen or a THC vape pen. So at the end of the day, my granny passed in 2018, but I can assure you that cannabis and CBD added to her life. And that was the main reason that I took this thing and took it to everyone that I could possibly get it to, simply because I saw what it did for my grandmother. I was looking at it as a way to make money. I was looking at it as people call it the California gold rush. I was looking at it as the California green rush. It's an opportunity to make money until I saw what it did to my grandmother.
My grandparents are 90 years old and they just recently got turned on to hemp CBD to the industry, and it was for similar reasons. They had gone through surgery, they were scared of getting a dependent. I think also, when they did take the opioids, they had memory loss, and that was one of the biggest issues with my grandmother, because even at 90, she's so sharp, she's been a reader, and so she was at some point like, I need to make a change, this doesn't work for me anymore. Can you bring me something? And whether it's a placebo effect or it really works, it works for her. And that's all that matters in the end. So.
Absolutely. And it's working for so many people. Like you said, whether it's placebo or not, it's working for the masses. So that's really how I created my products. I created them by trying them on my grandmother. And now the industry is so big, now I can just be creative. Now I'm at the point where I can just be creative. I've established my company's infrastructure. Our corporate chart is looking good, so now I can just be creative and focus on the things that I want to focus on.
So if you could walk us through a day in the life of TK, what is it like for you as the entrepreneur, as the business owner, from the minute you wake up, just the average day, to the minute you go to bed? What is that like?
Wow, it's kind of crazy because I'm a single dad. Okay, so I got 2 little ones. So wake up with them, get them going. After that, I'm immediately on my phone checking the office to make sure what's going on as far as both lines, the CBD and the legal line. My CBD line manufactures out of Southern California, and my legal THC line manufactures out of Northern California. So I have to make sure both of them are on track. I have to make sure that, the emails from the website, customer service stuff is being followed up on. I've got to make sure that sales are going out on time. I've partnered with a fulfillment center, as part of my company organization chart, to make sure that my products have a shipping and fulfillment center, to make sure my products have a way to be sent out. So my products are sent out the same day that they're ordered, versus having to be made and this long process. So the same day they're ordered, they go out. It's a busy life, but it's something that's welcomed. It's something that's welcome. It's something that I've always wanted. I always knew I would be a business owner. I didn't know I would be this type, but it's nothing I can complain about. It's nothing I can complain about. I love being able to raise my kids. I told myself before I got into business, before I had kids, I would be able to be successful enough to raise them and be with them, versus how my parents were gone 50 hours each a week. So this is what I chose, so I'm not complaining.
I love cannabis, and if we can do what we love, obviously we never work a day in our lives, and
Absolutely.
If we're able to help our families, all the better. I think that's what makes our products even better. You have love into your product. You used it on your grandmother, so you genuinely care about the results. You're not just someone that comes into the industry to flip a product, make a quick buck. You have a history involved in this. You're invested in it emotionally, physically, and you have your system going from Northern California to Southern California. So I'm very happy to hear that. If you could really break down the core values of your company, how is Remedy Plus working towards giving back to the community?
I believe personally in the AEIOU management philosophy, and I manage with great energy and attitude and energy, initiative, observation without micromanagement, and understand. As far as understanding, I listen to understand, not listen to talk. I feel like with that, it allows my team to build a bond with me. It allows my team to love me. It allows me to love my team. It allows us to want to give each other the best, that each other have. On top of that, our reach spans beyond just my team. We've done work with the Ronald McDonald House in Redlands, California. We've done walks with them. We do a number of things in the community. We do giveaways. We do a lot of different things. Thanksgiving, holiday giveaways. We do enough in the community. We try to do what we can in the community
Excellent.
to give back.
So you mentioned having a THC line and a CBD line. Where are you sourcing your ingredients from? We know that transparency is everything in this industry.
Yeah.
We test results. We want to make sure that we're not putting toxins in our body.
Absolutely.
How do you go about, do you cultivate your own? Do you know where it's coming from directly? What's that process like?
The blessing that I'm in the legal market now is I can go to the labs. So now it allows me to go to these labs that only retail licensable oil, licensable CBD. You know, my CBD has 0 THC. I don't want anybody to ever use my product and fail a drug test. I want you to know what you're taking, and I want you to receive the benefits that you took it for. I don't want any surprises. So my CBD has 0 THC. My THC has, you know, it's got a little bit of CBD for the most part, but it's a distillate. So I go to the labs. I go to where I know it's going to be 100% guaranteed that I'm not going to be tricked. There's no pesticides. I have lab tests that come with my products. And then in the regulated market, there's so much testing involved that you can't fool anybody. So I don't want to go the cheap route. I don't want to go the quick route. I'm not in for a quick route. I'm in for the long haul. I'm part of that 1% of minorities in this industry, and it's a personal point of pride for me. So I take it seriously.
Now that California is recreational, what do you say on the laws or the policies? Have they done it right? Is there areas that you think the state could improve on?
I feel like they messed up because they didn't do the traditional market or the black market right. So the black market is thriving at the same time the recreational market is thriving. And a lot of people are willing to choose the cheaper option in the traditional market versus going the recreational route. So it makes it hard for a lot of us in the recreational side that can go down the street and see somebody selling, an A for $25, and then, I have to sell my product, my 100 milligram product, for $15. 300 milligram product used to go for $15. Now that same 100 milligram product in a recreational shop goes for $15. Just the difference in, because of the taxes and things, I think they should come down on the taxes a little bit, because cannabis isn't going to go anywhere. If they come down on the taxes, I believe it helps out. It brings the price margin closer to give the consumer the option, a better option. Where do I want to shop? Versus the taxes are 40% higher, and it's obvious. I don't want to go there unless I'm scared or unless I'm naive. Those are the only people that are shopping with us right now.
And, coming from California myself, I was in Humboldt for almost 10 years. I cultivated outside. I lived in Oakland for a while. I'm in Brooklyn now, but I think I'll end up in Oakland at the end of this journey. I loved it out.
Yeah.
I always felt that the people writing the laws aren't involved they don't consume cannabis, they don't smoke cannabis, they're working in Congress, they're working in politics. Like, if anything, of them are straight edge people, and here they are, they're writing these regulations and these laws completely separate from the idea of what you said. I can go to the corner and get something for $25, or I could quadruple that price and then have the, relief of it being tested. But if you're on a budget or you need medicine, and with insurance companies not covering cannabis yet, it does keep the off market and the on market in competition with each other all the way. Can you speak on the social equity program? Are you a social equity applicant? If you are, can you speak on that?
I'm aware of the social equity program in Los Angeles. I've also done a little bit of research on social equity, throughout the country. For me, I'm not a social equity applicant. In order to qualify in Los Angeles, you had to either been arrested or convicted of a cannabis-related crime. You have to live in certain areas in Los Angeles County, and you have to be below the poverty level. And I didn't meet 2 of those requirements. The social equity program in Los Angeles kind of works like you apply, you become a social equity applicant, whatever, a member, whatever, and the state gives you 51% ownership of that business. That's a great thing. I think the fact that they're looking to address the diversity need in cannabis is a beautiful thing. I just feel like they don't have it right yet. So 51%, that sounds great, but then what investor is going to come put $1, $2, $5, $10 million with somebody that is not proven as a business owner? You see, nobody with that kind of capital is going to say, I'm going to take 49%, put this money up, and you have the last word. So it's got to be a grassroots thing. And a lot of these people that are applying, they don't have the people behind them. They don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the knowledge. They don't have the know-how to build this thing to what it needs to be in order for them to really reap the benefits that they're trying to reap by being in this industry. I wish that a lot of these states would get together, and Oklahoma has a good one that I like. They don't have any limit on licensing. There's no limit. If you want to apply, you can apply. If you're a minority, there's a discounted price. It's affordable. The reason I like it because everybody doesn't want to get into cannabis. There's some people that absolutely hate it. There's some people that want to be in tech. There's some people, everybody doesn't want to get in it. Give everybody a fair shot.
And I've heard that Oklahoma is kind of like the Wild West, or like what California used to be.
Yeah.
And I actually have my cousin, her dad owns a dispensary in Oklahoma, a fellow publisher for Edibles magazine. They're based out of LA. They just moved out to Oklahoma to start a cannabis operation. I got another friend. So I know Oklahoma is a hotspot right now for the industry. So
you have to factor it in that everybody is not going to be a great business owner. You have to factor it in that some of these businesses are going to fail. So Oklahoma is going to get their money from their application fees and all this other stuff. It doesn't need to be this huge exorbitant cost for people to try to get into the industry. The ones that will win were destined to win already. They will win. The ones that won't, well, they tried it. There's a lot of people that try businesses and don't succeed. I like Michigan, discounts to those affected by the war on drugs, like in business owners that live in that area. So for me, I think if we put it all together and we talk about it, I think we can come up with something a lot better than what California or Los Angeles has. I like the fact that Oakland gives up 50%. 50% of all applications have to be social equity. So I like that, but again, me as a Black person, I'm 13% of the population, and I'm not the only minority. So, it's got to be some kind of balance. I feel like it's fair, especially with the state of the country, state of the world right now, what everybody is talking about. As far as a businessman, it's kind of sad to say, I can't think of a better time to be a Black man in America as far as business. It's kind of sad to say, but this is the first time I feel like we're being supported. I've been around since 2013, and if you look at my Instagram, I have 200 followers. I don't show my face.
One of the things you mentioned at the beginning of this interview, which is so important for every entrepreneur, is access to capital, having seed money. I mean, making it work. I think that if you're in business, if you can make it for 2 years, you're doing a lot better than a lot of other companies. I mean, if we look at the restaurant industry, which is one of the hardest industries to break into, a lot of businesses fail there. Have you gone out looking for capital? And if you have, what has that experience been like for you, just as an entrepreneur and for you as a member of the Black community? What has that experience been like for you?
As far as capital, crazy thing is I've never taken on a partner. I've never taken on an investor. There's been times where I've wanted to, or where I've tried to, and it went extremely bad. So I'm just at the point to where I just trust myself. I trust the team that I've built, and I run with that at this point. I started my business, $5,000, and went and got me some oil and made some candy, and it's history. So as far as capital, I've never had a need to say, look, I need somebody to give me $200,000 for this or whatever. I've just always been able to make do, and I've been around, like I said, since 2013.
I think that's the real the real cannabis entrepreneur is because we've been so brushed aside. We've been so in the closet, so to speak, for decades.
Yeah.
And we just had to build, these companies, these empires, these businesses, these brands on bootstrapping it. Building it from the ground up, from the seed up, growing it, from the ground up. And I don't know any other industry that's comparable to cannabis in that regard.
Not at all.
Historically, we still don't even have access to banks.
That was a point of conversation. I know there is only 630 banks that deal with cannabis out of 11,000 different banks and credit unions in America. Like, that's crazy. Like, how are we supposed to forecast? How are we supposed to do what we're supposed to do as legitimate business people? It's like, you want to tell us we're legitimate, but you don't want to give us banking? So what am I supposed to do? I can't buy a house. I can't do this. I can't do that. You're setting people up to do things the wrong way.
There's definitely a lot of kinks to be worked out, but they make for good stories later on.
Yeah.
So if you could think back on your whole cannabis journey, from the time you were 16, smoking down with your friend's mom, to this interview right now, what is your favorite memory or experience?
Number one would be my grandmother, and being able to have that impact in her life. Being able to give her last 3 years and give her some kind of quality. My grandmother loved to fish, and she was able to go fishing again after the doctors told her she wasn't going to leave the hospital 3 or 4 more times before, she went home. So for me, that stands above the rest, just because that's what I built my brand behind. Remedy is going to help you, plus it has extra things that you're going to like in it, and the CBD, the THC is the remedy, everything else is the plus. And that's how I've always looked at it, so that, and then, favorite experiences is being at the High Times events, being finally having an opportunity for people to touch my products, taste my products, and realizing, hey, it's a black guy that owns this, so that was I used to love that. Because, like I said, I used to be the guy that hides. I never show my face because I don't want the stigma. You think minority owned and you think cannabis, you think less than. You don't think equal to or greater than. You see? So I hate to say these things, but it's just true.
How can we as an industry do better? Like, from your perspective, what can we do better to make you feel equal than or greater than? I mean, how can we work together to bring credit where credit is due?
I support everyone. If I like you, if I like your products, I just support people. I had somebody selling shoelaces yesterday, and I said, oh man, I know you from college. Let me buy some shoelaces. A guy that sells glasses 2 days ago. Hey man, I support you. Let me buy some glasses.
Yeah.
I feel like we should support each other. I feel like we should all just support each other. It's not a skin thing. It's not an anything thing. It's a product thing. It's a who is that man thing? Who is that woman thing? If you like it, the product, if you like that person, support them. Simple. I don't see any reason to make it any more than that. And I don't understand why it's ever been any more than that. If you like that man, support him. If you like his product, support him. If not, on to the next. No more conversation needed.
I agree wholeheartedly, 100%. I mean, it's not even about buying local. It really is about supporting people and products that you truly appreciate and love.
Absolutely.
One final question. Where do you think, or where do you hope the cannabis industry is going? Where are we going to be in 5 years?
We're going to go through a phase just like alcohol, like prohibition. I think we're going to go through all of that, where you have everybody and their mother that's manufacturing or trying to do some kind of cannabis product. You have the big wigs doing it. You have a mom and pop trying to do it. And somewhere along the line, people are going to fall off, and the ones that are going to remain are going to stick. You know, I look in my liquor cabinet, I like Hennessy and all these other brands, and Jim Beam and Jack Daniels. They all started back then. Prohibition. That's where they got those names. That's where those names stuck from. So I think that's where we're going. So hopefully Remedy Plus is one of those names that stick.
Well, I hope so too. And I can't wait to see you guys over here in New York.
Absolutely.
I can't wait to, see products like yours and many other great brands in California and Colorado, and just be national. And I think that there are so many quality products out there on the market that I believe that they will survive and they will do much better than, maybe other industries where there were microbrewers or, not that entrepreneurs grow tobacco, but, things of that nature. So
absolutely. Yeah, we will have our time in this industry. We've had a good time so far, but the best is yet to come still. So, we just gotta keep doing the right thing, keep plugging away, keep believing. I have a poster of the late great Kobe Bryant, my favorite basketball player of all time, and it's a poster that he designed, and it's got Jerry West, it's got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and Kobe Bryant. At the bottom of each one of their pictures, it's their record for the worst season that they ever had. They actually had more losses in that season than they had wins. And at the bottom of it, it says, "Those who endure conquer." That's my motto. I live by that.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. And I appreciate you coming and doing this interview. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having the interest to communicate with me.
If people want to find you, if they want to find the brand, where can they go?
They can go to remedyplus.net. You can find our CBD line. I'm actually updating that website to carry our THC line as well. Our THC line, like I said, just launched recently, so we've been more focused on creating products and getting our distribution and our sales teams going versus creating ways for the public to find it yet. So it'll be coming soon. The THC line will be coming soon on the website, but that's remedyplus.net is where you can find our CBD. You can also find us on @remedyplus.cbd on Instagram and all the social media platforms.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, TK. I appreciate it. And we will be in touch soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much and have a great one.